What if your story could power a movement? Every struggle you have conquered becomes the answer someone else is still searching for. At Community Pay It Forward, your mission matters. When someone shops with one of our giving partners, they can choose to support you simply by uploading a receipt. Your story gets shared, you get visibility, and you can share our program to raise up to 90% in referral awards. You have a story worth sharing. We're here to help you tell it. Apply today by using the QR code or at communitypayitforward.us. Because your story deserves to be shared. And at Community Pay It Forward, no one needs to go it alone when we all come together. Community Pay It Forward isn't just another rewards program. It's a movement built on compassion and connection. We link everyday businesses, nonprofits, and neighbors so simple actions like buying lunch, getting your car fixed, or hiring a service can create lasting impact. When you choose one of our giving partners, part of your purchase goes directly to families, veterans, children, or community missions in need. It doesn't cost you a dime more. It just means your purchases matter. Because here, every transaction tells a story. And our belief is simple. If you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. Because at Community Pay It Forward, no one needs to go it alone when we all come together.
Warning, the brown cloud is approaching. Some will try to outrun it. Others may not be so lucky. But don't worry, it's all part of the fun at the Chili Cook-Off for books and board games. Where the chili is hot, the flavors are bold. And Bear E has your back with the official Brown Cloud Preparedness Kit. Follow the plan. Know your exits, and whatever you do, hold your breath, because this temporary pain is all for a great cause. Join us, laugh with us, survive the brown cloud, together at Key Largo Lounge in Greeley.
Join us November 8th at 11 a.m. for the 10th annual Chili Cook-Off for books and board games at our home field, Key Largo Lounge, where our small market team is making a huge statement. Scan the code for tickets and sponsorship information.
isn't right. Where can she dream here? Took a hold of her life, left at night, stepping out of her fear. Bring me home, out alone.
Hello and good evening, everyone. I'm Zak Clayton, founder of President Community Pay It Forward, the Come Together Compass, and Pact Podcasting channels. Tonight, before we move to our interview section, we are really trying to get people to help us beef up our numbers. We want to make sure that people understand what we're doing here at Community Pay It Forward. We want people to understand what we're doing with the Come Together Compass. We want people to join us in helping others. We want people to understand that we are trying to build something so powerful that makes your shopping turn into a lifeline for people, not just in the neighborhood that you're in now, but neighborhoods you've been in before, or situations you've had experience with, or people that you've always wanted to help but never had the extra money to do it. We're trying to get around all of that and make sure that every action, there is a positive and strengthening reaction. So the Community Pay It Forward program depends on 4 different types of partners, and we're going to be talking about them. But right now, I'd like to draw your attention to the QR code up in the corner. This QR code is how you, for $20 a month as a business, can join our program and be the backbone of what we're trying to do. For $20 a month, you can make sure that people understand you are in this to support businesses, to support nonprofits, to support families in need everywhere. That you are in this to make sure that people know that when they shop with you, you really are the important one, because they are taking your thoughts, your heart into consideration, because they're willing to give to what matters to you, the customer, the community partner. Your shopping has never had this much power. And we are going to show you, the business people, why scanning this QR code tonight, and with simply a referral and $20 a month, you turn your story into the best type of advertising you've ever had. So I want to once again thank you for joining us, and I do greatly appreciate it. I want to share with you 2 powerful programs that are transforming on how communities support each other, turning everyday actions into lifeline for those in need. Each one is its own entity, yet they both work towards support for people who need us. And the greatest thing about all this, we're asking people just to do what you already do. We're not asking people to make major changes out of your life. We're asking nonprofits to do the great work that they do. We're asking you as business owners to do what you do already. Business professionals, we're taking and we're asking you to turn a referral or an affiliate award into something far more powerful. Community Pay It Forward is built on a simple but revolutionary idea, if I do say so myself. Your everyday purchases can become a source of hope and help for families facing hardship. And when you shop, dine, or use services from our giving partners, a portion of your purchase is directed to local missions and nonprofits. But that's not all. It's also worldwide missions. Our goal is to make sure that we have access to help everyone. We want what's important to you to be able to drive your shopping list and turn your shopping list into support. This program creates seamless connection between customers, businesses, and community projects. It's free to the customer. This costs you as a customer absolutely nothing but the price of making a purchase and shopping with the wonderful businesses who have agreed to come along with us and say, hey, grab my arm. We're going to build a chain that nobody can run through. We're going to be the catch-all that helps people in the communities. We want to make sure that everyone in our communities, everywhere, are able to stand with us, get up off their backs, and help each other out. We want to lead, but we need you to be there with us. This program is designed to make giving accessible to everyone. Whether you're a small business owner or a customer, you become part of a larger ecosystem that turns spending into very meaningful support. Our giving partners range from local retailers and restaurants to service providers and contractors. And what we're asking you to do right now is scan this QR code, and for as little as $20 $20 or $20, whichever one you want to call it, and an agreed upon referral or affiliate award, you can get started tonight. Businesses can join us as a silver partner. You gain visibility, customer loyalty, and the satisfaction of making a measurable difference with every sale you make. Know that every single time somebody comes to you through us, a portion of that is going to go to a mission partner. What's a mission partner, you may ask? Families, nonprofits, and community projects receiving, they have asked us for help. Now, this is the one restriction that we run into, and we get asked all the time, well, how come I can't pick somebody outside of the program? And folks, I'm going to make this very, very easy to understand. Go and talk to a lot of nonprofits. They have a no outside solicitation in their bylaws. That means that we cannot put their name on a list. If we do, we open ourselves up for penalties, lawsuits, for pain. We're not doing that. But here's the good thing. We don't say no to a lot of nonprofits out there. If you're a nonprofit and you're looking for help, we want you to come and join us. We want your mission to be in our approved missions. We want your mission to be one of the reasons why people shop with our partners. It's a simple process for you as well. But these missions receive the majority of funds generated anywhere from 70 to 90%. That's correct. No less than 70, but all the way up to 90%. And it doesn't matter if that is a $1 donation or a $1,000 donation. The mission partner receives 70 to 90% of that referral. We don't say, we don't make agreements with giving partners that say, well, we'll give you $1,000 per deal, and why don't you just take and give away, $200 and you can keep the other 800. That's not the way this works. If you give us $1,000, we're giving away $700 of it. That's it. That's it. It's done. $700 to $900 of it. We do this because we want to be consistent and we want to make the most of your purchases. We want you to know that that purchase is going to make a substantial difference in someone's life. And we can't do that if we make side deals to put more money in our pockets. Money's very important. I'm on disability. Okay, I do this off of my disability. I'd love to not do this off of my disability anymore. But what's more important to me is that we take and we support you as you support others. So, these nonprofits and community projects, they receive, once again, anywhere from 70 to 90% of all funds generated, ensuring that help reaches those who need it the most. This model empowers communities to come together, creating a ripple effect of generosity and impact. Now, there are four major parts, once again, of the Community Pay It Forward program. There's our giving partners. These are the ones who, for, right now, $20 a month in a referral, you get listed in our website. People know who you are. People know that you're in existence, and they know that you're here to help them because you're part of a difference. Then we have the mission partners. These are the people who ask us for help. We are not a nonprofit, and we're not a nonprofit because I don't ever want to tell somebody, I love what you're doing, but you're outside of our little box. So I'm sorry, we cannot help you. So, we're not a nonprofit. We turn referrals, which are business expenses, into donations every day. Then you also have the community partners. These are you, the customers, the volunteers, the people who want to spread the word on the wonderful things that we are trying to do together and make a difference with every purchase. And then, of course, we have our sponsorship partners, which are the ones who cannot give the referrals. Our great friend, Scott O'Sullivan, he cannot give referrals. It's against the law for him to give a referral. So he is a sponsorship partner. That is the money that we use here in the company to pay for our materials, to pay for our bills. So our sponsors are vitally important to us for the existence of the company. We need your help so we can continue to do what we do. So if you cannot give a referral, there's still a place for you, and that is to become a sponsor partner. We still treat you like gold. We still do everything we can to point people in your direction because you are needed just as bad as anyone else. Our next program is called the Come Together Compass. And while Community Pay It Forward fuels support through purchases, the Come Together Compass serves as guiding map for crisis response. It's built on 5 core values: dignity, compassion, unity, direction, and hope. Once again, that's dignity and compassion, unity, direction, and hope. The compass addresses the urgent needs in our communities through 3 pillars: physical needs, food, clothing, shelter, transportation, and emergency resources; emotional needs, peer support, mental wellness, and community check-ins. All things that are vital for people who may be falling into a deep, dark place. And then we have the community connection, linking people to nonprofits, volunteers, long-term support networks. Each one of these pillars supports one thing, and that's everyone around us. Because at some point in time, people are going to need help, and this allows us to be there. We can't always raise money for everyone. But that doesn't mean we can't help everyone. With the Come Together Compass, we can make sure that you are finding the help that you need. You are finding the rental assistance. You're finding the food banks. You're finding the clothing closets. You're finding all these places, the utility assistance networks that are in your area. The overall vision of the Come Together Compass is worldwide. I need you to make sure that we know what's available in your area so we can tell everyone. And that way, no one is walking alone through their difficult times. We want to partner with food banks, rental assistance programs, mental health providers, and many others fill critical gaps. We also need sponsors and volunteers. You play a vital role by providing funding, in-kind services, and hands-on support. Together, these pillars create a comprehensive safety net that helps individuals and families move from crisis to stability with dignity and hope. Look, I know I'm cramming in a whole lot of stuff right now, but it's so important that we start to get this going. Our mission started as this thing that everyone has always told us is impossible, to help everyone. They're wrong. And if we can get these two programs to where they're standing on their own, we are going to be able to look around at the people that we love everywhere, at the people that we don't even know, but we know that at some point in time they needed us. And we can say, we did this together. Imagine when you open your door, when you flip that open sign of your business, that first thought every day can be, I wonder who I'm helping today. Scan the QR code, get started today, and tomorrow we will start telling people we'd like to welcome you to the Community Pay It Forward family. $20 an agreed upon referral. It doesn't matter if it's a percentage of sales, a one-time donation, a monthly donation. Every time that someone pays their monthly bill, we get $5. Every time, when somebody buys a package for the first time, we get $10. We've got people who 5% of everybody's monthly enrollments come to us. It's all still the same. And that money is your money. And I'm never going to tell you what is the donation you give. This is your money. You tell me what you're willing to give. Because the people who are out there, of course, they want more. But the truth is, if they get anything, they can move forward. There truly is no donations that are too small. to help someone. Not helping people. That is the only way that we can fail. Folks, I want to thank you so much, and tonight I invite you to join us in the mission. Whether you're a business owner ready to become a giving partner, scan the QR code, build your profile. You can start as soon as tomorrow. A nonprofit in joining as a mission partner. Simply get a hold of me at Zak at communitypayitforward.us. All the information will be linked in the information below. And on the replay, it'll be in the description of the video. But we need you to join our team. We can all do so much better when we come together.
Every day, someone in our community is facing a challenge they shouldn't have to face alone. Your business can change that. When you join the Community Pay It Forward family, your kindness becomes action, and your sales becomes hope. For as little as $20 a month, you help guide families, nonprofits, and neighbors from crisis to stability. One small step, one powerful mission, one community coming together. Join the family today. Visit the website or scan the code and become a business where people can shop with purpose and support with heart.
Very simple. Those last couple words right there. Shop with purpose, support with heart. You're talking businesses, you're talking to your customers because you're not telling them who you support. You're saying we're here to support who you love. That is giving you something that the big guys just don't care enough to do. The big guys are going to tell you who they're supporting. Our goal is to ask you, who do you support and how can we help you support them? So again, scan the QR code, become a giving partner today. As little as $20 a month. And the agreement of a referral. You cannot give a referral, become a sponsorship partner. The rates are the same. It's just without the referral. Mission partners, nonprofits. Do you need a little help? Join us. We love you and we want to see you succeed. And this is giving you unfettered, unlimited and unrestricted money. This is money that people give to you to do what you do. Simply by saying, hey, community, pay it forward, tell my story. Contact me by using the information below. Let's get you started today. $25 filing fee, and you are with us forever. And for $25, a one-time $25 fee, one time, you get 70% of whatever anybody turns in dedicated to you. $25 could be unlimited support. Well, community partners, we need you. A community partner who is willing and eager to support and spread the word. Spread the message. Tell people what we're doing and make your purchases count. Because you're going to go to communitypayitforward.us. You're going to find people participating in this program. You're going to shop with them because they are small businesses. They are the lifeblood of our community. And they support you, your feelings, and who you support. So come on, businesses, join us today. For just $20 a month and a referral, you can start making a real difference. Together, we can ensure that no one faces hardship alone. Let's turn everyday actions into extraordinary impact. The time is now to make this difference. Right now, there are more people out there that need our help than there's ever been before. Let's get a handle on this. Let's get moving. Let's start making a difference. Because when we do, there is no stopping us. And I look forward to looking next to me and seeing you as one of our partners. As we look at the world and we realize we've done it. We have worked together, we have come together, and we have helped everyone in some way or another. Thank you for your time, your heart, and your commitment to the community. Scan the QR code. Let's come together and pay it forward. My name is Zak Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, the Come Together Compass, and the Pact podcasting channels. I want to say once again, thank you very much for listening. And I want to invite you, because $20 a month, hey, I know it's tough sometimes. But that $20 a month could do more good for you than any other form of advertising ever even thought of.
Every day, someone in our community is facing a challenge they shouldn't have to face alone. Your business can change that. When you join the Community Pay It Forward family, your kindness becomes action, and your sales becomes hope. For as little as $20 a month, you help guide families, nonprofits, and neighbors from crisis to stability. One small step, one powerful mission, one community coming together. Join the family today. Visit the website or scan the code and become a business where people can shop with purpose and support with heart.
Folks, next we're going to play our interview that we originated on Monday. This is a dear friend of ours, Jeanette Dethridge. She is a veteran of the United States Air Force. Her husband is very ill. He's in stage 4 prostate cancer. He has stage 4 prostate cancer. Jeanette wants to make sure that you, men, do the right thing for your family and get checked. And guys, there's something in here that I didn't know. Did you know that if you contract prostate cancer, this could possibly mean breast cancer for your daughters? It's a very interesting fact. Here's Jeanette Dethridge. Please, scan and join now. Never been a better time than right now. Okay, so this interview is really, really cool because I've shared with you all that a week and a half ago, Justice and I went to Okay, so I'm very sorry about that. That is the wrong interview. That one, actually, her voice sounds very robotic. She's got quite an echo in it. So give me just 1 second and I will pull this up again. And of course, I don't have it loaded. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to play our brand new partner. We're going to play Mr. Arbok, who has joined us with Arbok International. This is one of the individuals who saw our mission, saw what we were doing, and decided to join us. So I'm proud to introduce you to Phil Arbok from Arbok International. I will replay that interview with Janet Dethridge tomorrow before Santa. So tomorrow at 5 p.m. Mountain, which is 7 p.m. Eastern, I will play that interview of Jeanette Dethridge tomorrow at 7 p.m. East. Favorite time to of doing any of these podcasts is right now, and that's when I get to introduce you to a brand new partner, someone else who takes what we do together and sees the value, because they know, just like we do, we get to finally help as many people as we can, and we're on our mission, and we're always going to be on our mission to help everyone through something. It sounds impossible, but it's not. And we can never ever accomplish this until we help the very next person. So the person that I want to introduce you to right now, who's on that same mission as me, is Mr. Philip Arbok from Arbok International. Philip, how you doing today?
Good, Zach. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, that's great. Philip, I want to tell you a little story, and I think this really digs into what are one of the things that you really want to talk about. And it was Google Translate that did this, and it was early Google Translate that did this. When I started this company, probably we just celebrated our 11th birthday on the company 12th birthday, and I wanted to make sure that it was done in Spanish as well. So I took and I just copied and pasted and put everything in there, and I asked some Spanish-speaking friend of mine to please read it over and tell me what they thought. And they thought this: it makes no sense. You can't even read it. It's words that don't go together, and it just makes no sense. And I said, I don't understand. It's exactly what I put in there. And he told me there's no sentence structure. The sentences are formed different in Spanish than they are in English. So what it did is it tried to take and put together an English version of the sentence in Spanish, and it just doesn't make sense to a Spanish-speaking person. Why is it that AI does this with all-knowing AI when they should be able to sit there and say, oh yeah, we need to take and form this into Spanish-speaking sentences?
Well, it's a very good question. I am not a technologist, but I'll answer it the best way I can. First of all, our company has provided languages, translating, interpreting, transcribing, dubbing, subtitling, everything into over 120 languages for the past 35 years. And we do this with precision and accuracy, which AI itself doesn't do, as you illustrated. First of all, AI has improved since then, but it's still absolutely not perfect. It's not always accurate. And people assume that what they're putting in, people assume that the output is accurate, and it is, except if it isn't. And unless you know the language, you won't know, like your friend who reviewed it, you won't know that it's garbage or that it makes no sense. I can give you some examples of this. But languages, yes, have different sentence structures. So the AI programmers, developers, have to program their algorithms to accommodate the sentence structures of the what's called the target language, what something is going into. And again, sometimes they do it well, sometimes they haven't got a clue, and it becomes gibberish. And sometimes the words make no sense, or the words are simply misused, is most common. So, for example, we had a case just this past week where a very wise law firm came to us because they wanted us to check its AI version of the contract it was preparing in Spanish, and one of the sentences was, um, the English original was, something is going to clear through customs. And the AI translation used the word nacionalizar, which means to nationalize. Has nothing to do with clearing through customs. So that was clearly where it was wrong. They also had something about, in English, we would say to execute documents. And this, again, the AI used a word that basically it means to sign, but it's more commonly used to mean to subscribe. So it's not to subscribe to documents, it's to sign the documents, to have a clear, clear record that this is exactly what you want to agree to. So again, sometimes it's words, sometimes it's sentence structure, sometimes it's phrases. A lot of times it's acculturation, so I would call it a cultural adaptation, which AI does not do very well at all. Sometimes it's changing again the grammar structure, or again misunderstanding words, or putting expressions that simply can't be translated properly. So there are a lot of mistakes that AI makes, and you illustrated one of them. By the way, Google was one of our clients for many years. This is after they had Google Translate. They still came to us to do it correctly.
They needed it. Like I said, they definitely needed it, because I'll tell you that one, that was really a wonderful experience, because I knew that at that point that I needed to make sure that I had this checked, and I never sent anything else out again that I didn't have a friend or my neighbor who speaks fluent Spanish. I made sure that they understood it, and it's like, did I do this right? Is this right? And so it was an experience that really truly did help me. Philip, let's first off, congratulations on 30 years in business. That is beautiful. So congratulations there. But let's go back 30 years ago, my friend. What was it that said, I want to do this? This is it. Translation and helping people do business around the world, connecting people, because that's truly what you do, is you make it possible to connect with people of other cultures, of other countries. So I mean, it's such an invaluable thing that you do, and there's no way to put a price on that, that connection. Why?
Yeah, that's very true. So most people in this country are totally clueless, and there's no reason they would necessarily think about it. But 80% of the world does not speak English. It's closer to 17%, but let's say, I'm sorry, it's closer to 27%, whatever. But I'm sorry, only 17% of the world does speak English, which means 20% does, 80% doesn't. So approximately. So the point is that if you want to communicate with other cultures and other nationalities, other countries, it's important to put your message in languages that they understand, because also around 60% of world internet users will only talk to you if you address them in their native languages. So, and that can be people in this country who are immigrants, for example, or certainly people abroad. So if people are looking to expand their reach beyond the convenient North America that they know, the way to do it is by communicating with people in other languages. How I got into this business was by total accident, as most language service providing owners are. That's what we're called, language agencies, or called LSPs, language service providers. And I got into it by total accident 36 years ago, actually, where I had a marketing consultancy at one, and my background at the time, and still to some extent, I have a master's degree in international marketing, and I had studied I think 6 or 7 languages by then. I think now I've studied 8. So between the master's degree in international marketing and the languages, that fit together, that was about international. And I was literally approached one day when I had a marketing consultancy by a group of translators who said, we'd like to, we can do all the work, we can do anything into any language, but we're just looking for someone to bring us the clients. And that's how the company started. Very simple.
I again, I think, and I really can't put an emphasis on how important it is, because there is an international connection here. I mean, this isn't, we're one of the things that COVID did in a positive sense is it made it to where there is really no such thing as a local business, because it made sure that we all had the websites and we all had the e-commerce and all this other. Well, people are no longer subject to big box store. Your little mom and pop shop can compete with them because they can be seen everywhere.
Right.
But only if they can be understood. And so that's, and exactly what you said. It's almost like if somebody who has a difficulty, like say they are deaf and they cannot navigate your website because it's not made for the hearing impaired. They're not going to continue just to try to figure out your computer, your website. That's the same with someone of a different language. They're not just going to continue trying to decipher things. So,
Yeah. And that's very true. And look, just because people may read English or speak English on a tourist level or a simple school level does not mean that they understand or feel comfortable with English on a business level or whatever your product or service is. Every industry, whether it's real estate or wine or agriculture or software or electrical circuits or chemistry, each industry has its own terminology. And so most people do not learn that terminology when they study a foreign language. They learn, conversation, and that's fine. But if you've got a technical product or a product that's, business oriented in any way, in most cases you're using some technical vocabulary, and people may not necessarily understand that or know that. So this is again, and also it's a matter of comfort. It's a matter of welcoming. If you bought a product, some people buy, let's say IKEA is not a good example, but let's say you buy a product from another country and you open the box and there's a brochure in Chinese or a brochure in Danish. Are you going to understand anything? They're assuming that, of course, you understand their language. They sent it to you because that's the brochure that they send out to their international clients. But obviously, this manufacturer didn't realize that they're sending to the United States where the native language is English, and they should have provided an English brochure. So it's the same kind of shock value. And again, it's welcoming. It's showing people that you care, showing people that you want to communicate with them in their language. And there are two issues that arise with that I'd like to dispel right away, or two fears that I'd like to dispel right away. One is people may say, well, I can put my website, let's say, into another language, but what if I get an inquiry from someone abroad, let's say from Croatia, and I don't speak a word of Croatian? Well, no problem. You simply send us the email, whatever it may be. We'll translate it very quickly from Croatian to English. You respond in English, we'll put it back into Croatian, and you send it off to your prospect, to your client. Very simple. There's another solution to that, which is, what if someone calls me and I can't speak to that person? So we have a solution for that. And that's called OPI, over-the-phone interpreting. And by the way, people mix up the terms all the time. Translating is to convert anything written into another language. Interpreting is to convert anything spoken into another language. So a phone call, a meeting, a conversation, a conference, a deposition, this is all interpreting. So if someone calls you, we have a service called OPI, over the phone interpreting, and you can be connected 24/7 within seconds, sometimes a minute, but usually within seconds, to a live interpreter, and then you have a three-way conversation. You, the interpreter, your prospect. The prospect speaks in his or her language to the interpreter back to you. And that way you can speak to your prospect, and whether it's a prospect, a supplier, a vendor, again, a client, an employee who doesn't speak English fluently, whatever the case may be, this is the way you can serve that person.
That's always been one of the things that, when you go into when you watch a meeting at the like the United Nations, that's one of the things that have always really intrigued me, how quickly people are able to take, and there's a speaker up there who's not speaking in short sentences. They're not saying, they're not saying just little blurbs and then waiting. But you see the other people holding that, or now they don't hold it. Now they've just got little earbuds in their ears. But they can understand everything that other individual is saying because they've got an interpreter.
Yeah.
Is the technology difficult for people to understand, or is it really pretty easy for people to understand?
Which technology?
The over the phone technology.
It's really like making a phone call. It's literally, we give you a toll-free number which is dedicated to you or your company, your department, whatever you want. You dial the number, an operator gets on the line, you say the language that you want, you're connected within seconds or perhaps a minute. A minute if it's an obscure language, like Burmese, for example. You're connected very quickly with an interpreter, and then you simply speak, naturally, like on a phone call, and again, hopefully short sentences, and then the interpreter will interpret your words, and then your prospect will respond, and the interpreter puts it back into English.
Yeah, well, it's just like I said. I know it's amazing that there are people who can sit there, and I'm always fascinated by sign language, by people who can interpret that quickly, who can sit there and dictate someone else's English, how somebody can sit there and dictate someone else's words. That always amazes me because I am so slow at typing that, I would have to be telling the person, hey, wait a minute, wait, stop. Dog ran down, it would truly be that slow for me. But, Philip, I know there are other countries that have this issue, but when somebody goes to, like when somebody's trying to connect with somebody in Japan, there are so many different dialects in Japan, or so many different patterns in Japan. People may not be aware of that. How do you tell them? Do you know which one you're talking about? My son is in Japan, and he says he goes into certain prefectures. They have no idea, and he has no idea how to talk to them. And he is very fluent in Japanese.
Yeah. Let me back up for a moment, if you don't mind. So there are two kinds of interpreting. One is consecutive, which is what the OPI is. I speak, I'm quiet, I'm silent. The interpreter interprets. Your counterpart asks questions, is silent, the interpreter interprets. That's consecutive. What you see at the United Nations is called simultaneous, the same speed. Translators are like doctors, interpreters are like surgeons. A different level of not both education as well as qualifications, as well as skill. And the people at the United Nations and the European Union, for that matter, similar, are like the top of the profession. They're the chief surgeons who are able to interpret simultaneously from the official languages to other official languages. And by the way, not every language can be interpreted simultaneously. German and Japanese, for example, cannot be done accurately, let's say, because of the sentence structure. But they can be done consecutively. So that's one point. And by the way, interpreting can also be done by phone, by in person, certainly, and by Zoom, by virtually, as we're doing now. So you don't have to send an interpreter to a venue. You can arrange it like on screen like this. It's you know, the cost is less because obviously there's no travel time involved, and the minimums don't apply. In terms of your son and your question, first of all, Japanese has, I speak Japanese also, that was my major in college. So Japanese has one standard way of speaking, which is called effectively Standard Japanese. And that's the language of broadcasting, it's the language of education, it's the language that anyone commonly would speak. It's spoken in Tokyo and elsewhere. But when you go to the rural areas, then people will have dialects. We don't have them as strongly in the US, but it's very much like Cajun English, perhaps, or Gullah, in this islands off of South Carolina. There, or in this country, you don't have very strong spoken dialects where people literally can't understand each other. But it's much more common in Britain, which is a much smaller country, and certainly very common in China. And China has vast dialects, and literally people cannot understand each other. But they're united by the standard dialect, the standard dialect of the country. And if they can't speak it, which would be unusual, then they can always write it, and then that's the way to communicate because people are educated to read the characters in both Japanese and Chinese. So interpreting would be for standard Japanese, and in Chinese it would be for the whatever dialect, Mandarin, Cantonese, Sichuanese, Shanghaiese, whatever.
Okay. I would say if you're trying to compare it to here in the U.S., I knew a couple individuals from Louisiana, and the role of their tongue made speech very difficult to understand, and it was more of an urban they were black, they were a black family, and so they had like it really was a Creole kind of soul speak. It was very intriguing to listen to him. Plus, they speak so fast that it was hard to understand them, So, but I would say that was probably the one place, the one place in the United States that I've been that I really had to take. And yes, we all use our different words in different places, but Louisiana was the one. Southern Louisiana was the one place that I've met somebody that I had to tell him, "Whoa, slow down. We're not going anywhere." So, by the way, Ledoux, if you're listening, I love you, brother. I hope you're doing well. I haven't talked to you in over 20 years, so love you. But he was such a wonderful kid, and yeah, but there were times that, and I think he got a kick out of it, watching me really struggle with trying to understand what he was saying, so.
Well, there's a wonderful story that I like to relate.
Please.
A Quebec family went to Paris on vacation, and they supposedly both spoke French. The French customs officer, passport control, and the Quebecer. But the passport control officer absolutely could not understand the Quebec speaker at all, and basically put him back on the plane and sent him back to Canada. Because he said, I cannot, you can't come into my country, I can't understand a word you're saying, that we can't communicate, that's it. So it happens more in Quebec where, first of all, Canadian French, Montreal French is pronounced differently, shall we say, than European French. And the metropolitan French in Europe don't like it, don't understand it well. And up country, up province, northern Quebec, is basically incomprehensible to a lot of even Montrealers and other people as well. So it happens more there than it does in this country.
little funny story. I watch a lot of hockey, Philip. Hockey is my life. I love watching, listening about hockey. Today is like Christmas Junior for me because it's draft day in hockey. So, I'm already geeked out. I'm wearing my Devils shirt for Red Friday. I'm ready to go, raring up, ready. And I remember calling into one of the hockey shows that I used to listen to all the time, and he was French Canadian, and he could speak English, but that French Canadian was in his voice. You could hear it all the time, and he would every once in a while he would speak in the French Canadian tone, and I commented on, back in the show, I sent a text to him and I said, how come is it that every time, you guys start speaking in French Canadian, it sounds like somebody's trying to clear their throat, So they found the humor in that I wasn't trying to insult them. They found the humor in it. And when they came back on, the guy only spoke in the French Canadian, the ones where they really dragged the throat more. He just was saying words that made that sound just to kind of, zing me back. And that was one of the funniest things that I have ever, experienced. But that guy, he came back on and he wanted me to pay for what I said.
That's funny.
Plus, he's a Canadiens fan, and I'm a Devils fan, so it's not like they get along very well. But are there any languages that you guys are working on, but maybe have a little bit of problem with?
Not really. There sometimes are. I think we've been stumped once in 35 years, and I can't remember what it was. Oh yes. Sometimes the Mayan dialects, they're not. I don't want to be disparaging and say they're not languages, but the Mayan dialects in Mexico and Guatemala, they're really spoken languages, and there's no standard way of doing it. So they can differ from village to village and so forth. So those are, we simply don't handle them because, again, we get requests extremely rarely, but there are no real professionals who do them. So, and I don't want to say we've been stumped, but if we really search high and low and the client were willing to pay the price for it, we could find someone who could do it. But this was a very quick government contract, and they don't want to pay a lot. So it wasn't.
Well, this is for my education inquiry, but didn't the Mayan language pretty much die out, and it was reborn, but they were never particularly sure that this is exactly how, the words that they spoke, because there was no written, it's kind of like ancient Egyptian.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what ancient Egyptian was because, all we have are hieroglyphs. We don't know exactly, we're pretty talented at reading the hieroglyphs, but we're not positive 100% sure if we're using the exact same words that they used.
Right. I don't know the history of Mayan languages, so I can't speak to that. But I do know Mayan languages and in Vietnamese, well, they're standard Vietnamese, but there are a lot of countries where there are, let's say, village dialects or rural dialects from that simple region, that region, and it may be spoken by, I don't know, 5,000, 10,000, 25,000 people, but these are not common languages, and they may not. They're probably written now, but traditionally, as you say, they were spoken languages, and not necessarily grammar patterns or dictionaries, that sort of thing. The original people who created dictionaries were probably missionaries, And I can guarantee you that they got a lot of it wrong,
Yeah.
because they're seeing it through the Christianity lens, and that's absolutely does not compute in most cultures. So, I can tell you for sure, for example, in Japanese, there's no word for God the way we would understand it in the Western world. There's just no concept like that. Um, so anyway, a lot of these languages were originally spoken, not written. They were written, after perhaps 1,000 years later, and there's no standard way of saying, writing, or doing it. So these are languages we don't really do, but also there's hardly any request for. Now, we are getting involved in a project, interestingly, in Uganda. Sorry to interrupt you. And we will be translating vocational courses like about automotive and hospitality and tailoring and plumbing and so forth into 5 indigenous languages of Uganda, 5 of the 8 major indigenous languages of Uganda. And again, these are written languages, but they're not certified languages, which means that there's no test in them. And even when we do it, there can be disagreement. Well, my village says it this way, my village says it that way. But, and it's not that it's wrong, it's just different. So you say lawyer, I say attorney, I say fall, you say autumn. It's not wrong, it's just different.
There are certain parts of the English language that do not translate into other languages.
Oh, there are a lot of words in English that don't translate properly, and other languages have words that don't translate into English.
And
so, yeah.
A lot of our idioms they don't make any sense in any other language.
Well, all idioms are contextual, which means that they're, relevant to that culture. And if you don't have that culture, then it may not make any sense. Just as, we would say the Eskimos or the Inuit have like 20 words for snow, where we may have 3, slush, snow, and I don't know, something else. Can't think of it. Flurries, whatever. But they're different degrees. So people have idioms and expressions and words depending on their local climate and their culture. So if I say, for example, the expression, you're really batting 1,000 today. Well, that's from baseball. Cultures that don't understand baseball have zero clue what that means. So the job of the translator or the interpreter is to convey it properly, which means, oh, you're being really successful today, or you're doing extremely well today.
There are cultures even with baseball. Japan probably wouldn't understand that, and they have wonderful baseball teams, so like I said, it is kind of funny that I try to say something and my son will try to translate it sometimes to his kindergarten class, because he teaches English to kindergartners. And I'll try to say something, and just be like, I'll say hi for, and because he always talks about me as like Godzilla, because I'm a larger individual, and he'll take and introduce his kids to me on my birthday. Every Christmas Eve, we'll get a video chat of myself and the kids. Most beautiful thing in the world, it truly is. But he'll introduce me as like the Fat Man or Godzilla or something like that, and it is just such a cool thing. And then I'll try to say something back to him, and my son will look at me like, Dad, I can't say that, And it's not that I'm saying anything wrong. I'm just saying things that don't exist, in that language. So it is. It's.
Well, you give me an example. I don't know.
I really can't come up with one on the spot, so bad timing on my part, but it'll just be something funny. And my son is the one who taught me that you can't write like you read. Or I'm sorry, you can't write like you speak, because people don't understand like the jokes that you write. If you're making fun of yourself or something like that, which I have a habit of doing, people read that differently. And so I'll try to say something in that way, and it'll be that if I say that, it's going to come across very bad for you. So, or
and some cultures don't do sarcasm at all.
Right.
So if an American or an English speaker says something sarcastically, the foreigner can take it literally, and it may or may not make sense. And in Asian cultures, well, East Asian cultures, Japan, China, Taiwan, Korea, you self-deprecate, you lower yourself. So, for example, no Japanese, I don't think, would say, "My father is a fat man," because it's insulting, right? So, but you would say, and if I give you a compliment, "Oh, that's a really nice red shirt," your response in Japanese would be, "Oh, no, it's really not so nice. It's old, or I've had it for a long time, and I'm sorry, it's not very pretty," or something like that. You lower the praise, whether it's about yourself or something that you're wearing, something that you're doing, one of your qualities. If I say that your son is really talented, your response in Japanese is, "Oh, not really. He's been sort of slow, or my daughter may be a little better than he is, but thank you, but it's not really so true." So again, it's just responses that we can say the words, but it doesn't communicate in the same way in English. And then people would take it literally, and think that you really mean it. Well, no. I shouldn't say this, but I'll say it anyway. When the Hebrew Bible was written, it was not meant to be literal, and a lot of Christians took it literally. And the Hebrew was written as metaphors. So, for example, if I say to you in English, "It's raining cats and dogs," it does not mean that cats and dogs are falling from the sky.
Yeah.
But there are metaphors in the Hebrew which are to indicate God's power, whatever you want to say, and the original church people started taking them literally because there were no Hebrew speakers anymore to tell them that was wrong. So in the same way, so I personally have issues with people who say the Bible, take the Bible as the literal word of God. Well, no, it isn't, because it's been very badly mistranslated, among other things, and that was not the original intention. So that's a separate issue, very controversial, I'm sure, but that's...
Well, it's a wonderful place on my show to say something like that, because I have my own issues with stuff like that. But, look, there's changes everywhere, and we, there's certain things that can be proven and certain things that are, they are what they are. But if you see on the bottom of the screen, you can see the communitypayitforward.us profiles, and that will take you to Philip and Arbok International's page. They are now a Community Pay It Forward giving partner, which means every time you hire them, they will donate a portion back to us, which will go to a cause you choose, and you can make a donation simply by reaching out and connecting to other cultures. And if you're not reaching out to other cultures, you're missing out on so much. One, money. We'll just say the important thing right now, you're missing out on a bunch of money. But the truth is, you're also missing out on the experience. You're also missing out on, the engagement and everything else that can come from connecting with other cultures. So please make sure that you call on Philip and his team, because they have put together a program. And Philip, you guys work with you've already mentioned Google. Google's not the only Fortune 500 you guys work with.
Oh no, we've been, over our 35 years, we've served Fortune 100 companies down to billion-dollar companies in niches you've never heard of, like dentistry, for example. We've served a the largest dental supply firm in the world called Dentsply. We've served and solopreneurs, as well as many nonprofits, as well as government agencies at all levels, federal, state, and local. Um, and but on the the small companies you might have heard of include Microsoft and Apple and Google and Twitter, which is now X, and Marriott and Hershey's and Colgate and Cadbury and Coca-Cola, huge small companies like that you might have heard of.
You said that you've translated for that dental supply company, and all I could think of is that is trying to translate, the sound of somebody with with something in their mouth. Do you feel anything? Yeah, I feel you putting a hole through the roof of my mouth. Thank you.
You translate for the products that the dentists have in their offices.
Right. So, hey, you know what? I think that if you guys would be able to translate through the gurgling sound, I think you guys would be pretty, even cooler. That would be something great. But this is, I'm sorry, this over here is a view of Phil's landing page. It does have all of his contact information right here, including 2 different phone numbers, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast. So please reach out. You've got his email address, and you can reach out to him anytime by coming to this page. One other thing that you could do is say, hey, Zach, I heard your interview with Phil. I would love an introduction, and I'll zip out an introduction to you and this wonderful man in real quickly, and get you guys in touch with each other, because that just means that we get to continue our goal on helping everyone. The QR code above Philip's head, that will take you directly to his page. So you don't have to type in anything, just scan that QR code and it'll take you directly to his page. So, Philip, thank you very much for joining me. Before I let you go, would you have anything else that you would like to tell people?
Oh, wow. Well, again, we convert anything you've got into over 120 languages, plus their dialects. So Spanish has, 10 or more dialects. We do all of those. Portuguese, there's European Portuguese and Brazilian Portuguese and so forth. So that's not included in the languages, in the numbers that I gave you. But we do websites, brochures, manuals, contracts, videos, conversations of all kinds, meetings, international conferences, phone calls, as I've mentioned. Anything you've got, videos, anything you've got in any other language that you want to put into another language or from another language, we can do it with professional standards, which is guaranteed accuracy. And please do not rely on AI only to do any kind of translating or interpreting unless you want to risk errors. It's very good. There's no question that it's accurate, that it can be accurate, that it can be good. But if you need precision and if you need guaranteed accuracy, as you do for anything client-facing, for anything medical, legal, business, scientific, government, anything like that, then it must be done with professionals. And it must be done professionally, and that's with the methods that we use, which is linguists with master's degrees in the art of translating or interpreting, 10 years of ongoing experience, which means they're not part-time professors. People translate into their native language only, so they know expressions and nuances. And most importantly, we match the linguist with your subject speciality. So the people who do chemistry don't do wine, don't do software, don't do law, because each one has its own terminology. And this is the way to get it accurate.
That's, again, I think it's beautiful. One last language. What is the most unique language you have ever, that you've ever translated something into?
We had a request in probably year 2 of our 35 years for a language called Inuktitut. Can you guess where that is?
I'm gonna say Africa, maybe?
It sounds African. It's actually Inuktitut, I think. It's actually what we would call an Inuit or an Eskimo language.
Eskimo, yeah. When you said it the second time, I got it a little bit better.
And then another one called Rораnkure, which is a language of Uganda. And we provided interpreters for that language, actually for the U.S. Department of Labor.
Wow. That's, as a guy who screws up English, and that's the only language I know, you're my hero. That's just all there is to it, because what you do is amazing. And I welcome you to the family, Philip. I'm so glad that you decided to join us in our mission to help everyone. And I beg of you, if you are in business, if you're starting a new business, remember, we are not just a mom and pop shop anymore. We are worldwide. So make sure world can speak to you. Call Philip. Talk to Philip.
And if you are in another country, if I could add, we don't just do it from English. We do other combinations. Portuguese to Chinese, for example. So if you're in another country and you need to speak to people around the world, like Czech to Japanese, we can do that as well.
And now, as soon as I can teach you how to speak Zakese, we'd be okay. So right. I definitely need a translator sometimes. You should see the way my wife looks at me when I talk. So, but we've been talking to our brand new giving partner, Philip Arbok from Arbok International. Phil, welcome to the family. Thank you very much for being part of Community Pay It Forward. Last two for you. What can we do to help you today?
Oh, thank you. Well, basically, again, if anyone has any needs or knows of people, whether your neighbors, friends, cousins, whatever, all referrals are welcome. And if it's over a certain amount, we'd be delighted to give a referral fee as well.
And then the last question is, what can you do to help someone who's struggling today?
Well, it depends on what the person needs, but of course, anything to do with languages, we can help with that. And they're certainly contributing to the wonderful causes that you have. Maybe that's how it all goes around.
That's beautiful. Philip, thank you so much for joining us. Please, if you ever have any events or anything that are coming up, or if you know a nonprofit that's having something that they would like to get out there, please make sure that you join us again on the Pact Podcasting Networks. So thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Every day, someone in our community is facing a challenge they shouldn't have to face alone. Your business can change that. When you join the Community Pay It Forward family, your kindness becomes action, and your sales becomes hope. For as little as $20 a month, you help guide families, nonprofits, and neighbors from crisis to stability. One small step, one powerful mission, one community coming together. Join the family today. Visit the website or scan the code and become a business where people can shop with purpose and support with heart.
Warning, the brown cloud is approaching. Some will try to outrun it. Others may not be so lucky. But don't worry, it's all part of the fun at the Chili Cook-Off for books and board games. Where the chili is hot, the flavors are bold. And Bear E has your back with the official Brown Cloud Preparedness Kit. Follow the plan. Know your exits, and whatever you do, hold your breath, because this temporary pain is all for a great cause. Join us, laugh with us, survive the brown cloud, together at Key Largo Lounge in Greeley.
Join us November 8th at 11 a.m. for the 10th annual Chili Cook-Off for books and board games at our home field, Key Largo Lounge, where our small market team is making a huge statement. Scan the code for tickets and sponsorship information. And that right there is a good reminder that it is coming up. The Miracle of the Season 3 is on its way, which means stories, talking about traditions, telling us what's important about this time of season for you and your culture. This is not just a Christian. Everyone lives December 25th. Not just Christians. Okay? We want to hear what you celebrate this time, that time of year during the winter. Is it as old as winter solstice? Is it as new as Kwanzaa? Kwanzaa didn't get started until the 60s. Do you and your family open gifts on Christmas Eve? That way you can just leave Christmas Day to your religion. What do you do? Is there a special recipe that you cook every year? Cook it up. Share it with us. Read your favorite story. Record yourself reading your favorite story and share it with kids all over the world. That way we can share the spirit of the holiday. The holiday means longer nights, shorter days. It means more depression. It's hard on people. It's cold. It's miserable. It's hard to stay up and moving. So help us celebrate the miracle of the season. And that season is everyone and what they celebrate. We're not just going to talk about one season. We're going to talk about everyone's culture. I invite you to come and tell me about your culture, what you know, what you love. Chili Cook-Off is the official kickoff of the Miracle of the Season. If you're anywhere near northern Colorado, Denver, Wyoming, come down and join us. We would love to have you. So I want to thank thank Philip for joining us, and I want to remind you up here, $20 a month and a referral gets you in the Community Pay It Forward program. Gets you started making a difference to people all over the world. Puts your business where people's hearts are. This is a place for you and your business to talk to people on a whole new level. And Community Pay It Forward needs you to make sure that we succeed on helping everyone. So, we will talk more next week. After the Les Simpson show, we will be talking more about the Come Together Compass. But the one thing we need you to do is donate if you can. Because right now, folks, it's a shiny new toy that's just waiting for mom and dad to go to the store and buy the batteries. Right now, the anticipation is building. The excitement is building, but we need to get the batteries to make it run, and you can help us do that by donating. Use this QR code here, and let me make sure it's not like super duper large. Your phone's probably looking at it going, what the hell? So, but donate today. We need your help. It's a beautiful, beautiful toy that's power is unlimited. And if you know anybody who belongs on that list, if you know anybody who supports people in any way and does it for free, we want to list them. We want to make sure people know who they are, and we want to get people to them. Because no one should ever needlessly suffer when we are here and we can help them out. Thank you for joining us today. Please donate, please, if you can. If you would like to join me, please reach out to me by email. And you can reach me at Zak, Z-A-K, at communitypayitforward.us. That's Z-A-K at communitypayitforward.us. I'd love to have you on the podcast. Come on, tell your story. Tomorrow, right before Santa's Stories of Impact, we will replay our interview with Janet Dethridge. Dethridge. Guys, get checked. What her husband goes through, I don't think any of us would want to go through it. But truth is, you can pass this along to your daughters in the form of breast cancer. Get checked. Make sure you're okay. Please like, share, subscribe the videos, all of our posting. And please remember to love somebody out there because somebody out here loves you. My name is Zak Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, the Come Together Compass, and Pact Podcasting Networks. I want to thank you so very much for joining me tonight. Folks, we need your help. Donate if you can. Please. All of the links are in the description below. Please join us next week for Les Simpson and the Les Simpson Show. Until then, have a great week. Be safe. And again, love somebody out there because somebody out here loves you. Thank you very much. Please take care of each other, folks, because we're all we got.
Hey friends, I've been thinking, we all have our strengths, right? There are things I'm great at and things I'm definitely not great at. I can talk to anyone, anywhere, but ask me to add something to a website or an app. Yeah, that's where things get a little messy. Oops, I love speaking, I love sharing stories. But social media, all those hashtags, algorithms, trends, that's a jungle I still haven't mapped out. Now, coming up with ideas that bring people together, that's my sweet spot. But bookkeeping, let's just say numbers, and I have agreed to stay in separate corners. And you know what? That's okay, because someone out there is good at those things. And when we work together, that's when the magic happens. Community Pay It Forward has never been about one person. It's a program built by many to support even more. Every single one of us brings something special to the table. We all have talents that make us strong on our own. But imagine how powerful we become when we combine them. That's the heart of Community Pay It Forward. Your skills, my skills, our hearts, working side by side to make a real difference. So tell me, what are you good at? Let's discover it together. Visit communitypayitforward.us and join the movement.
Every Friday, people across the country put on red for one reason: to honor the women and men who left the comfort of home so we can live freely. These shirts are not about politics. They are not about a war. They are not about religion. They are about gratitude. They are about respect. They are about remembering everyone deployed. When you purchase one, you help us launch the Come Together Compass, a program built to guide families and heroes to the support that they need. Wear your pride. Wear your gratitude. Support Red Friday. Remember, everyone.
alone to show me the way. You wanna hold the heart of Sunset Boulevard. Bring me here, 'cause it's not quite clear to be a part of Sunset Boulevard.